It's not time for us to look at what is actually trending with Olamide on Trending Now, what people are actually saying across platforms. Olamide, it's good to see you on the other side.
Good to see you, Ibrahim, but I'm going to need you to take that introduction again, because if Ria was here, she would say the delectable, the beautiful, the outstanding. So I'm going to give you a chance to correct your wrong.
I'll have to go by dictionary to get those words from there.
Thank you so much, Jim. Let's have a look at what everyone's talking about this morning. Good morning, Nigeria. Like I always say, TVC has our finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, my team and I do our best. And it's our absolute pleasure to bring you all or some of the trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with this news, where Nigeria has taken steps to protect its international reputation by hiring a United States-based lobbying firm to communicate its efforts at protecting Christian communities and sustaining American support in the fight against violent groups. Now, government filings show that Abuja signed a $9 million contract with Washington-based DCI Group, arranged through a Kaduna law firm known as Asta Legal, in order to engage U.S. policymakers on Nigeria's security strategy. Now, the 6-month agreement aims to highlight government actions against jihadist groups and assure United States partners that there is no systematic persecution of Christians, a claim that the government continues to maintain amidst growing public concern. Now, this comes as Nigeria battles insurgency, kidnapping, and communal violence in several regions, reflecting broader efforts by the administration to shape its counter-terrorism narrative abroad. Let's have a look at social media. BD says the NSA can hire a lobbying firm to communicate protection efforts, but not enough money to flush out terrorism and banditry in Nigeria due to complaints of the army having inferior weapons. IDP camps all over the north, they keep borrowing, but they have $9 million just to communicate. I'll take 2 more tweets. Kashami says, and at the same time releasing arrested terrorists into the society, that is $9 million that would have been used to return IDPs to their homes. In the age of the internet, no lobbying firm will help you. Everything you're doing is on social media for everyone to see. And finally, Daniel Fayemi says this. He says, it's a very important move. The ops of Nigeria spent way more to push their agenda. It's good to know we're waking up to counter them. Now show working and flush out the insurgents/bandits and any other name you choose to call them. Team, this is very interesting the dialogue as we just saw. Now, this is essentially an issue of image and a narrative. Nigeria is trying to change the global perception of our security challenges, especially because foreign diplomacy, foreign aid relies on the narrative that people have about Nigeria. There was a lot of public sentiment against this move, but if you ask me, I think it's a wonderful push. We live in a world where storytelling shapes everything that we do, and narratives are the difference between foreign aid and foreign neglect. And so I think this was a move by the federal government to really reshape the narrative and tell a different Nigerian story. And they're putting the funds behind to do so, Mr. Showumi.
Yes, for me, it's the right step to take in this situation. If you bear in mind the fact that those who are demarketing Nigeria are spending huge sums of money, you know, to demarket our country. And we also know how we got to where we are, that the Americans labeled us, you know, as attacking killing Christians for free in Nigeria. We know some people were actually paying lobbyists to sell that viewpoint to them. So I think it's right for Nigeria to try and counter that viewpoint and present the accurate picture of situation, and then the steps being taken to combat terrorism in Nigeria to the whole world. I think that is fair, because in the absence of a counter view, they would simply just believe what those detractors are trying to say about our country. So federal government should do more of that.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. At the same time, I think one of the most spurious claims and very devilish claim, satanic claim that have been made in recent times is to say that there is Christian genocide in Nigeria, because the Boko Haram, the insurgents, the bandits, whenever they throw their bombs, they fire their guns, all of those, they do not ask whether you're religious, whether you're a Muslim or you're Christian or even you're an animist. All they do is they kidnap, they kill, they plunder, all of those, regardless of your faith or affiliations. So if the U.S., is bringing that kind of claim, irresponsibly, I feel it's okay if the Nigerian government is looking to, okay, propaganda or propagandists, they spend a huge amount of money, in order to defame, to demarket a country, that we need to also spend equal amount of money, or even if not more, to ensure that we put the positive narrative out there for those who are willing to hear, because you can't even preach to the dead man.
Absolutely, and historically, team, we all know that propaganda has started wars and ended wars. Propaganda is a very important tool, and narratives are, and the federal government is getting behind that. I think that's great. Thank you so much for your input. Moving on into the world of social media, popular TikTok content creator called Nick Francisca has been arrested in Guinea after authorities accused her of acting as an informant to bandits following a travel video that she shared online. Now, Nick had documented her journey from Guinea to Sierra Leone, including footage from the immigration process as part of her regular travel content. Well, Guinean authorities reportedly flagged her video and questioned her intentions. Take a look at this video.
First question they were asking me is, who sent me? Who am I giving the video to? Am I an informant to the bandits? And I was like, bandits? Okay. I don't understand. Now, which one is bandits? That I'm surprised. I don't understand. They took me to a cell, and I was like, what is going on? I stayed there and asked them, am I going to sleep here this night? They said, yes.
Now, as it stands right now, we don't know if Nick has been released or not, because no one knows where she is. But concerns have also been raised about a language barrier, as we know that Guinea is a French-speaking country. Nick, in that video later on, says that her translator assured her that the situation was resolved, and yet she was still detained and locked in a cell, visibly distressed, as you just saw. The content creator was appealing for help, hoping that her case reaches the right authorities. And on social media, users are calling for her immediate release and urging diplomatic intervention. And that is why we do the work that we do here for stories like this. Let's have a look at social media. Abel says, I hope she makes it back safe. But honestly, it's not safe to make and upload traveling content while you're still at the location. Fair point. And Cam says, at Abike Dabiri, please, can you help? She's just a young girl solo traveling out for the first time. Now, team, this is very sad, and I thought it was important to raise awareness. She's essentially being accused of being a political actor simply for the act of bringing out her phone and, filming the immigration process. She's accused of being a political actor. But if you ask me, this speaks to the fact that we are now seeing insecurity in the Sahel and in the sub-Saharan Africa region now affecting even the digital world and people like content creators, Mr. Shomi.
Honestly speaking, I really feel sorry for Nick. But notwithstanding that, we need to make sure that people are conscious of one thing. Yeah. In the Sahel region and in West Africa, there are crises, there are insurgencies going on in different parts of West Africa. And therefore, filming or shooting any content will generate interest of the security services. And you maybe get pulled in because they don't know who is who. They don't know who is filming or who is reporting or who is spying on the security services. So our youth need to be a bit more careful, avoid troublesome areas, shoot your film or your video, create your content in cities where it's safe to do so, not across national borders.
Yeah, and this bedeviling the AFCFTA, the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, signed by strategic countries and nations in Nigeria, in Africa. But all the same, we know that every country is watching their back. Every country is very careful who comes in, who goes out, who sends what video, who records what video. In order to shoot your content, you need to seek the authorities' permission to do that. Because if you go to a country and you do not understand the language, you do not understand their idiosyncrasies, you need to be very careful. So she's now stuck. We know Abike Dabiri, it's time for you to do your job again, as you've always done it, Ma. We need her back safely to the country.
Absolutely. And please, to my content creators watching back home, do not upload your videos in real time. If you film something for your own safety, wait till you've left that location and then upload. This is for your safety. Thank you so much for your input, team. Moving on in the world of social media and music, Afrobeat singer and son of Fela Kuti, Seun Kuti, has again dismissed comparisons between Wizkid and his late father, the Afrobeat pioneer Fela Kuti, describing the narrative as misleading and uninformed. Now, speaking during an Instagram live session, Seun Kuti criticized Wizkid fans, who we call Wizkid FC, who refer to the Grammy winner as the new Fela, with some even claiming that Wizkid surpasses Fela. Well, according to Seun, such arguments ignore the depth of Fela's influence, which he says extended beyond music and go into culture, politics, and even ideology. Seun Kuti reiterated that Fela's legacy shouldn't be measured by charts or popularity, and that no present-day artist should be compared to his daddy. Have a look at this video.
Papa don't die 28 years ago now. I'll be 29 years will be this year. This is the 29th year when my papa don't die. From the grave, to Fumini 120,000 USD. Inheritance here, something just mature for you. Wow! When I call word of, when I call this thing, I go just they open their mouth. They talk about that kind of man. May I can't live with that.
Well, as you just saw there, Seun Kuti is essentially saying that even 29 years after his father's death, his legacy still speaks for him and pays him economically. Very interesting discourse about the concept of Nepo babies versus Lapo babies, which we'll get into in a moment. But let's have a look at social media. The Odd Thinker says, don't be a nuisance. Had Fela been doing like this, he wouldn't be generating such royalties, goodwill and right to use payments you are getting to live like a king today. Wizkid built a name for himself so that his son can be living like how you are doing now. His father is nobody. He carved the road out for himself. You and Wizkid's son should be holding this kind of talk. And Uncle Vic says, that's the obvious truth. I find it quite disrespectful that children of this era can compare a local boy from Uju-Elegba to a world-renowned activist and musician. Are you people really that dense on the internet? Many great things have come from Uju-Elegba, I'll have you know. Ainde says, Fela versus Wizkid isn't a competition. Fela used music to fight power, challenge oppression, and awaken Africa. Wizkid used music to globalize Afrobeats and put Africa on the world's biggest stages. One built the road, the other drove it worldwide. Team, I thought this was very interesting. Let's have a little dialogue. It's a Thursday morning. This reminds me and brings to light the issue of the Nepo baby versus Lapo baby. Now, Mr. Show me if you don't know what that is. It's essentially children who have come from nepotism and a silver spoon, as opposed to children who didn't have it as good. Seun Kuti saying, don't compare anybody to my father, but the younger audience measures popularity and success by fame and musical charts, whereas I believe the older audience measures it by legacy and impact. What do you make of this debate going on online?
Honestly, I align with you on this because this is a case of unparalleled overgeneralization on the part of Wizkid fans. It's overgeneralization. There is no way on earth Wizkid can be compared to Fela Kuti. I mean, just look at Fela as a case study. You are looking at Fela not just as an entertainment, not just as a music idol. Fela was a philosopher. He saw into the future. He spoke about many of the things which we are suffering from today. I remember his songs about water. Now, 1990, United Nations then go give us water. And he sang that 10 years before. Till today, we still have water problem. He spoke about so many issues affecting the common people in our country. He spoke about democracy, about people's rights, about human rights. He promoted it all. It's not just about music for entertainment purposes. So therefore, Wizkid is only producing music for entertainment. So just one segment of what Fela accomplished. So for me, this is a case of unparalleled overgeneralization on the part of Wizkid fans. I think I align with Seun Kuti on this.
Yeah, and I think I also agree with you on the basis of Fela being a philosopher. And that, when you listen to those kind of, lyrics, those kind of, lines, it resonates with you. I remember sometimes, even for you to understand what you're being taught in class, you had to listen to some of this music. You listen to, Bob Marley, listen to Peter Tosh, some of the way they talk about freedom, independence, unity, etc., and even fighting human cause. Not the kind of music we hear today where people objectify women. If they don't have women, naked women, throwing bomb bombs here and there, they are not singing. If they are not singing about, all of the parts of women, they are not singing. Is that music? They are not even telling stories. But you listen to all these oldies and then you hear stories, you're reminded of what had happened in the past so that you don't forget your history and to predict or prepare for what is coming in the future. But not just thinking about love and anything that do not benefit human other than the lyrics and the instrumentals. But it's okay. No one is great on this earth except God, but we should stop making comparisons. Fela is Fela. Wizkid is Wizkid.
As Mr. Shomi has said, it's an unparalleled, Mr. Shomi, help me, what did you say? Overgeneralization. But Seun Kuti, remember that water no get enemy. Yeah. Thank you so much for your input, team. Moving on to international news. Elon Musk's SpaceX has activated free Starlink internet access for users in Iran as authorities continue a sweeping crackdown on anti-government protests currently happening in Iran. Now, the tech expert in contact with users inside the country has now disclosed that previously inactive Starlink accounts are now connected with subscription fees being waived. This follows a near total internet shutdown that cut Iranian citizens off from the outside world. Reports suggest that more than 1,800 protesters have been killed, while the blackout has made it difficult to document and verify events on the ground in Iran. But in response, Starlink has now become one of the few remaining channels for communication beyond Iran's borders. Now, the satellite service, it's important to note, is illegal in Iran, with usage being punishable by up to 2 years in prison. And authorities are also currently searching for Starlink dishes as efforts continue to shut down remaining access to the internet. Human rights groups witness estimate that at least 50,000 people are currently relying on Starlink service to stay connected to the outside world. Let's have a look at social media. For the first time ever, Elon Musk is making me happy. Arafat says, is Elon Musk trying to stop the civil war in Iran by providing Starlink service, or is he trying to start a civil war? And Greg McKelvey says, the only real weapons the Iranian people have are their courage and their ability to keep the eyes and ears of the world on their fight and holding the regime accountable for violence. Starlink is their only hope to maintain communication with each other and with the world. Team, we know this from past wars, from past events, that technology can be used as a very viable tool for political and social resistance. When you cut off a country's internet, especially in this day and age, you cut off their life source. Elon Musk is now saying, no, we want to see what's happening on ground, and I'm going to give you the tools to do that. Starlink free for everybody. And people are praising Elon Musk for this because he's essentially giving them a voice. On the other hand, Mr. Shomi, there's been a lot of pushback saying, why didn't Elon Musk provide free Starlink access to those in Gaza? Please speak to this.
Elon Musk is actually playing the American game. I mean, he's using his private businesses as a tool of forging and projecting America's foreign policy. And I will give you 3 examples. One, in Gaza, we have not seen Musk providing Starlink, to people free of charge. Or even, I mean, it's in a very terrible situation that many people felt appalled that even private businesses, when it comes to the issue of Palestinians, will refuse to take a position against Israel. Now, take it and look at the case of Ukraine. Starlink has been providing services, to the Ukrainians in this aspect. And again, to the point that even the American government is also co-funding Starlink services to Ukraine. Then come down to Iran. Again, another country, at odds with the Americans. We've seen before this present crisis, those who failed to pay their subscription, got their Starlink cut off. But immediately there's a crisis now. We've seen what Elon Musk is trying to do, to help project America's foreign policy by ensuring that there is communication to widen the crisis, the protests going on in Iran. But people are forgetting one thing. It's not only those who are opposed to the Iranians that are protesting, but there are millions of people on the streets who are pro-Iranian government who are also protesting against the American intervention.
Absolutely. God bless you for this balanced view. Because we see the kind of narratives that the Western media will always push, making it look like the Iranians are against the established regime. Because Trump, as a not Democrat, as a dictator, a despotic leader that he is, trying to topple any other government, as we've seen, how he had ceremoniously done in Venezuela. They have been trying Netanyahu has been trying to push Trump to invade Iran. They tried it the first time, and they saw that Iran is nothing to joke with. And then the Iranian government rallied the ambassadors of US and some of the European countries together in one room, showed them the video of what the Mossad is doing, shooting and killing the Iranian protesters, who are also protesting against U.S. invasion, because the Gaddafi's daughter had warned them not to listen to U.S. so that the same fate that met them in Libya would not also, be meted out, to them in Iran. So the world is seeing the shenanigans, the double standard, the evil that the West is actually playing. But we hope that they do not fall for that antics.
One way or another, this revolution will be televised. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For your input, team. Now.